What's going on? YouTube, listen up, young elder gang. This is Ted Strokes at you with another banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Fam, I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes in this video. You will find history definitions, scripture information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning. The truth, keep in mind this content used in this video is intended for entertainment, educational and informational purposes only, and does not constitute legal advice or create an attorney-client relationship. You should not act upon any information on this video without seeking the advice of a competent attorney for your specific situation. We will give you the total truth as we best understand it today. Be sure to hit that like button, young elder gang. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit that bell and don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. Our legal system is built on two main types of courts, civil and criminal. They handle different problems, have different rules, and lead to very different outcomes. Civil courts deal with disputes between people or organizations. Think of them as referees for personal conflicts. Criminal courts handle cases where someone is accused of breaking a law that affects society as a whole. Understanding the difference matters for everyone, not just lawyers. If you ever face a legal issue, knowing which court handles what can change everything. Civil court is about resolving private disputes. Criminal court is about punishing public wrongs. This distinction is the foundation of our justice system. We'll break down what each court does, who's involved, and how cases move through each system. By the end, you'll see the key differences clearly. No more confusion about what you see in the news or movies. Justice shouldn't be a mystery. Let's pull back the curtain. The law is for everyone, and understanding it is your right. Let's get started. Civil court is where people go to resolve disagreements, not crimes, but disputes. The plaintiff claims harm by the defendant and files a lawsuit. The goal isn't jail time, it's to make things right, usually through money or a court order. Litigants are the people involved. The plaintiff starts the case, the defendant responds. For example, if your neighbor's tree damages your car, you might sue for repair costs. The court listens to both sides and decides who's legally responsible. If the plaintiff wins, the defendant is found liable, not guilty. Remedies often include damages, money, or injunctions, orders to do or stop something. The government isn't a party, it's a private matter. Civil court is about resolving conflicts peacefully and fairly. It's a cornerstone of society, offering a formal way to fix problems. Instead of taking matters into your own hands, you have a legal path. The process is about compensation, not punishment. Civil court keeps order among individuals and organizations. It's where private wrongs are made right. A civil case starts when the plaintiff files a complaint, explaining the harm and what they want. The defendant is served and must respond. Next comes discovery. Both sides exchange information and evidence. This includes documents, written questions, and depositions under oath. Discovery ensures both sides know the facts before trial. Most civil cases settle before reaching trial, often through negotiation or mediation. Settlements save time and money for everyone. If there's no settlement, the case goes to trial before a judge or jury. The plaintiff must prove their case by a preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not. Both sides present evidence and arguments. The judge or jury decides if the defendant is liable and what the remedy should be. If the plaintiff wins, the judgment orders the defendant to pay or act. That's how a civil case moves from complaint to resolution. Criminal court is where the government prosecutes someone for breaking the law. Crimes are seen as offenses against society, not just individuals. The prosecutor, a government lawyer, brings charges against the defendant. The victim is a witness, but the prosecutor controls the case. The goal is punishment and public safety, not compensation. Outcomes are serious. If found guilty, the defendant faces fines, probation, prison, or even the death penalty. Only the prosecutor can drop charges, not the victim. The stakes are high. Freedom, reputation, and sometimes life is on the line. That's why criminal court has strict rules and strong protections for defendants. The focus is on accountability for breaking society's rules. Criminal court enforces laws to protect everyone. It's about public order, not private disputes. The government leads the charge to keep society safe. A criminal case begins with a police investigation and, if there's enough evidence, an arrest. The prosecutor reviews the evidence and decides on charges. The defendant appears before a judge, hears the charges, and bail may be set. At arraignment, the defendant enters a plea, guilty or not guilty. If guilty, sentencing follows. If not, the case moves forward. Discovery happens next. The prosecutor shares evidence with the defense. Most cases end in plea bargains. The defendant pleads guilty to a lesser charge for a lighter sentence. If no deal is reached, the case goes to trial before a jury. The prosecutor must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, a very high standard. The defense challenges the evidence and presents their case. If found guilty, the judge decides the punishment. If acquitted, the defendant is free to go. That's the path of a criminal case from arrest to verdict. Let's compare civil and criminal courts side by side. Civil cases are started by individuals or organizations. Criminal cases are brought by the government. Civil court resolves private disputes and seeks remedies like money or court orders. Criminal court punishes violations of public laws and protects society. The standard of proof is lower in civil court, just more likely than not. In criminal court, guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Civil defendants are found liable and usually pay damages. They don't go to jail. Criminal defendants, if found guilty, face fines, jail, or worse. Civil cases don't create criminal records. Criminal convictions do. The stakes are higher in criminal court, so protections for defendants are stronger. Civil court is about making things right between parties. Criminal court is about enforcing laws and maintaining order. Both are essential, but they serve very different purposes. Understanding these differences is key to navigating the legal system. Criminal law involves the government prosecuting an individual for an offense against society, leading to potential penalties like jail time or fines. Civil law handles private disputes between individuals or organizations, where the outcome is typically monetary damages to compensate for harm, not imprisonment. A key difference is the standard of proof, with criminal cases requiring proof beyond a reasonable doubt, while civil cases need only a preponderance of the evidence, more than 50% likelihood. A criminal case is initiated by the state or federal government, not the individual victim. In a civil case, a private party, the plaintiff, initiates the lawsuit. A victim does not need to hire a lawyer for a criminal trial, as the government's prosecutor represents the state. However, a victim can also sue the perpetrator in a separate civil case for damages. A defendant acquitted in a criminal trial cannot be prosecuted for the same crime again by the government. However, they can still be sued in a civil court for the same actions, as seen in the example of the O.J. Simpson case, notes Britannica. Civil law governs non-criminal disputes between individuals or entities, covering areas like contracts, property, and personal injury, with the goal of resolving conflicts and providing compensation to the injured party. It is divided into substantive law, the rules themselves, and procedural law, the process for resolving a case. Civil law differs from criminal law, which handles offenses against the state, and common law, which relies on judicial precedent rather than codified statutes. Civil law provides a structured process for resolving conflicts between private parties, such as individuals, businesses, and organizations. The primary remedy in civil cases is often monetary damages to compensate the injured party for their loss. It sets standards for conduct between people and entities. Contract law deals with agreements, their enforcement, and breaches. Property law governs ownership of real and personal property. Family law includes matters like marriage and divorce. Personal injury, torts, addresses harm caused by negligence or other wrongful acts. Employment law covers disputes between employers and employees. Substantive law, the laws that define rights, duties, and obligations, such as the rules for a valid contract. Procedural law, the rules that dictate the process for how a lawsuit is handled, from filing a complaint to the final judgment. A typical civil case progresses through several stages, from the pre-filing stage through post-trial actions. Pre-filing, the initial investigation and considerations before a lawsuit is officially filed. Pleading stage, one party files a complaint and the other responds. Discovery stage, both sides gather information from each other through methods like document requests and depositions. Pre-trial stage, motions are filed and argued before a judge. Trial stage, the case is presented to a judge or jury. Post-trial stage, actions taken after the trial, including appeals. Versus criminal law. Civil law deals with disputes between private parties, while criminal law involves the state prosecuting individuals for offenses against society. Versus common law. Civil law systems are based on comprehensive, codified statutes, whereas common law systems are primarily based on judicial precedent and case law established by previous court decisions. Knowing the difference between civil and criminal court affects your daily life. Landlord-tenant disputes, car accidents, or faulty products? That's civil court. Robbery or assault? That's criminal court. Understanding which court handles what helps you seek justice and know your rights. If you're accused of a crime, remember, the government must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and you have rights to a lawyer and a jury. If you're sued, the outcome is usually financial, not jail. This knowledge empowers you to navigate the legal world confidently. Civil court protects individual interests. Criminal court protects society. Both are pillars of justice. Don't be intimidated. Understand the law, because it's there to serve you. Being informed makes you a stronger, more responsible citizen. The justice system is for everyone. Know how it works.